Hey guys, this is Jeremy. Thank you for coming back to my channel. As many of you have known, the author of Final Fantasy VII, Kazushige Nojima, wrote a light novel called The Trace of Two Paths, featuring the backgrounds of the two heroines of Final Fantasy VII, Tifa and Aerith. I have already did a video about Tifa, so today in this video, I am going to do a quick summary on what I read about Aerith in the novel. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back and enjoy the story. Aerith is the daughter of Ifalna and Professor Gast. Ifalna is a pure-blooded Cetra and Gast a human, so that makes Aerith a half-human and half-Cetra. Cetra is an ancient race with magical abilities, and the people are said to be able to communicate with the planet. Professor Hojo murdered Professor Gast and captured Ifalna and Aerith, who was only 20 days old. Both of them were being held captive at the Shinra building. Hojo did experiments on Ifalna, seeking to exploit her ancient powers. Aerith grew up in a small little Shinra room, and her only childhood friend was Ronnie, the son of Ifalna's caretaker, Mariel. When Aerith was 7 years old, she started to see images in her head. She saw not only landscapes and people that she had never seen before, but also the figures of animals and monsters too. Aerith's ancient powers were awakened. The following paragraph is quoted directly from the Trace of Two Paths novel in Aerith's own words. Quote, "I understand now that, up till then, I was a hostage, and to protect me, my mother had no choice but to obey Hojo. Hojo also knew that I inherited the powers of the ancients. He was overjoyed. Because he discovered a successor, he started doing terrible things to my mother. And just like that, my mother's health began to break down." Unquote. Ifalna was being experimented on from morning till evening every single day until her body broke down. Ifalna used to always beg Faz, a doctor working for Shinra, for more medicine to ease her pain. Faz loved Ifalna, and he wanted to help the mother and daughter escape the tormenting ordeal. So they came up with a plan. One day, Ifalna asked Aerith if she wanted to go for an adventure she would never forget. The young and naive Aerith got so excited that she could not stop asking questions. Faz managed to smuggle Ifalna and Aerith out of the Shinra building. They were supposed to meet Faz at Sector 3, but Ifalna had other plans. She brought Aerith to Sector 5 instead, gave her the white materia, and explained that the materia was passed down from her ancestors. Coincidentally, Elmyra was waiting for her husband at the train station that fateful day. She approached Ifalna and Aerith to ask if they needed any help. Due to Ifalna's weak body, she passed away after entrusting Aerith to Elmyra at the train station. "Take Aerith somewhere safe," were her last words. Because Elmyra was lonely, she took Aerith in. Although Ifalna had died, she still appeared in Aerith's dreams at night to give her advices on how to get along with Elmyra. Being able to communicate with the dead and people who are far away is one of the powers of the Cetra. Elmyra told Aerith about her family over a meal. Elmyra was married to Clay Gainsborough, who is the son of Gabriel Gainsborough. Gabriel ran a construction business and had work connections with the Shinra company. He was an important person in Sector 5 slums. Clay enrolled to become a Shinra trooper to avoid the public criticism that the Gainsborough household was getting preferential treatment from Shinra. Clay also had sworn brothers, Meguro and Carlo. All of them worked together with Gabriel on their construction business with Shinra. Aerith could sense that Elmyra was a good person, so she revealed to her that she was the last Cetra alive. Upon hearing that, Elmyra promised Aerith that she would not let anybody harm her, and with the help of Meguro, they came up with a story to make Aerith Elmyra's adoptive daughter, so she could carry the Gainsborough family name. Although Shinra are our client, it doesn't mean that we adore them. You don't have to worry about that, Elmyra assured Aerith. Because of Gainsborough business relations, many people tend to visit the Gainsborough family. One day, Aerith was caught unprepared. One of Clay's workers, Butch, asked for her name. No one ever asked for her name. Elmyra and Aerith were both flustered and didn't know what to reply. Aerith suddenly thought about Rona, Maguro's daughter, so she blurted, "Rona, my name is Rona." It was the day after that they decided on the name Rona. Marvin came down in the morning, Rodin in the evening, and the day after that, Bauman and Louise came down, and all of them brought gifts for Rona, the daughter of a relative taken by Elmyra Gainsborough. News spread quickly to everyone who was related to the business. Everyone began to identify Aerith as Rona. One night, Aerith dreamt about Clay's death, and she decided to tell Elmyra about it. Elmyra was devastated to the point when she lost even the will to do house chores. Carlo Kinky. I know, that name is iconic, right? Carlo cried upon hearing the news about Clay's death. Clay and Carlo were sworn brothers. It was Carlo that helped out the chores in the house, and it was also Carlo that instructed the kids at Sector 5 orphanage to not bully Rona from the Gainsborough family. Maguro brought his children, his son, Marcellus, and his daughter, Rona, to visit the Gainsborough family to pay respects to Clay. All of them knew Aerith's real name. Rona didn't mind Aerith calling herself Rona, but Marcellus teased and accused Aerith as an identity thief. Marcellus is a spoilt brat who looks down on the orphans. When they went out to the garden, Marcellus announced to the orphans Aerith's real name. He mocked Aerith and laughed at her for being an orphan. "You are an orphan, aren't you? But you went to Clay's house. How clever," claimed Marcellus. Just as Marcellus was going on and on about Aerith, Biggs, who was 3 to 4 years older than Aerith, pinned Marcellus down. He struck Marcellus and commanded him to apologize. Because of Aerith's kindness, she apologized instead and admitted that she was indeed an identity thief and her real name is Aerith. Although Maguro apologized to Aerith and reprimanded his son, Aerith was already being labeled as the identity thief. No one wanted to play with her except for Jean and Biggs, who resided in the orphanage. Time passed. The doorbell rang. A person's figure could be seen standing outside through the window of the door. It was Singh from Shinra Company's investigation sector of the General Affairs Department. He came to ask Aerith about the Promised Land. Aerith was so frightened that she retreated into her room. Singh left because he was told not to take her by force. When Aerith turned 10 years old, she had another dream. This time, she dreamt that Marcellus had blood all over his body and was about to return to the planet. She quickly told Elmyra about it and Carlo went to save him. It turns out that Marcellus ran away from home and was attacked by Cornel's men at Sector 6. So Aerith saved Marcellus in a way. Despite being bullied by Marcellus in the past, she still chose to help him out. What a kind-hearted person. 4 years later, Rodin, his fiancée Amber, Marcellus and Rona came to find Aerith. Marcellus apologized to Aerith for being a jerk when he was younger and told her that Carlo told him about her powers. Aerith was upset at Carlo for revealing her powers to him. Marcellus seemed to be very curious about the live stream and how the Mako energy has been destroying the planet. Rona told Aerith about the clash that happened in Sector 5, which Aerith had no idea about because she was kept at home all the time and there wasn't any television to watch the news. She came to know about Carlo's involvement in Sector 5 clash and learned that many died during the clash with Cornel's gang and some other ambitious people that came to Sector 5. She also learned about Elmyra's house becoming a special district, a place that is protected by Shinra. It was then Aerith discovered that the special district was an agreement between Elmyra and Singh from Shinra. a promise to Shinra to shut Aerith in the special district. Aerith's resentment for Elmyra grew. She wanted freedom. She wanted to live life like how any other 14 years old could. She decided to run away from home. She had an argument with Elmyra, packed her suitcase and ran away. At the back alley, Aerith met this strange but familiar-looking man wearing a white coat. His eyes fixated on Aerith. It was Fuzz, the doctor who was working in Shinra lab. The very same person who helped Ifalna and Aerith to escape the Shinra building. He told Aerith that he had been looking for her for a long time. Fuzz went crazy out of a sudden and attempted to coerce Aerith to live with him together at Sector 3, just like how he had always wanted to live with Ifalna. Aerith ran back home to Elmyra, crying in fear as Fuzz ran after her. Elmyra and Fuzz struggled for some time before someone from Shinra shot Fuzz with a gun. From that day on, Aerith only did volunteer work at the orphanage and she never tried leaving Sector 5 again. This is a very summarized version of what was written in the Trace of Two Paths novel. I hope I get all the events and timeline right. I feel like I understand Aerith more after reading her backstory. And boy, I am amazed that Aerith and Biggs were childhood friends. It is a shame that they did not get to meet one another in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I wonder if they will meet in Rebirth. I am also really curious if Marcellus and Rona will appear in Rebirth as well. I am really interested to see how they look like in-game. As you can tell in the Trace of Two Paths novel, Aerith was being protected all her life. Everything was provided for her since young, be it financially or emotionally. However, what she really desired for was freedom and acceptance from others. Therefore, she tends to be as bubbly and approachable as possible so she could make new friends. Her daring persona could also be due to the fact that she missed having an adventure like how she had an adventure with her mother Ifalna when they were escaping from the Shinra building. After reading about Tifa and Aerith, I realized that both of their childhood is completely opposite to each other. Tifa had the freedom to do anything she wanted. However, she lived in poverty and danger. And she had to work hard to protect herself and to get the things she wanted. Aerith, on the other hand, was sheltered and protected. Everything was provided for, but yet she desired to have freedom. I have also noticed that at the cover page of the book, the two heroines stood side by side. Aerith stood facing up looking at the light, while Tifa was looking down at the dark alley. It could be that Nojima was trying to portray the two heroines of differing backgrounds coming together for an identical objective. Interesting, isn't it? If you are still here and not fallen asleep, congratulations once again! We have come to the end of this video. Hope you have gained some understanding to Aerith's personality and backstory after watching this video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider to do so. Thank you and hope to see you again soon.